Hello everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm your mortician and welcome to the channel. I just wanted to go ahead and with the first video explain who I am, what I do, why I started the channel, and kind of where I want to go with the channel. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there for a lot of different things. I've done my research and I found quite a bit of channels related to the funeral home industry. But there's not one specifically bringing what I want to bring to the table. There's a lot of good people out there. I found them. I would love to do some work with them in the future, but I'm kind of sticking in my own lane on this, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. If you do or if you don't, let me know in the comments below if there's anything that I could change or if there's any topics that you want to cover specifically. Just let me know. I have a whole list in my phone of a bunch of different video ideas. I even have them categorized, by different topics and all that good stuff. So anyway, let's just jump right into it. We'll start with who is I'm Your Mortician. That's me. I came up with the brand. I kind of wanted to use the term mortician because it's so loosely, I wouldn't say described, but it can mean a bunch of different things. A lot of people don't know certain terms in the funeral home industry, so instead of saying that you're a removal guy or you're a, I don't know, embalmer, maybe they don't know what that is, a cremator, maybe they don't know what that is, I just typically tell people I'm a mortician and they kind of get the gist of that. Mortician, typically whenever you look up the definition, is going to be an undertaker or a funeral director. But as long as you're doing something in the funeral home industry that's related to taking care of that person, me personally, I feel like you're classified as a mortician. So the reason that I started this channel is because I really want to spread positivity and knowledge on a lot of topics that people don't talk about. If you do talk about these things, at least in this day and age, I feel like people consider you morbid, or they want to say that bad energy or whatever. I don't want to get, stepping on people's toes and all that stuff, but I just have seen it personally that a lot of people don't want to talk about it. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to feel ashamed of if you have that interest. I personally never really had that interest until I found this industry and I fell in love with it. But yeah, basically a lot of people don't want to talk about it. And I feel like when it comes to the point where a loved one passes away, or your friend passes away, or maybe you get sick, unfortunately, and I hope that's not the case with anybody watching these videos, but if it is, and if you ever need anyone to talk to, I'm here. And that's kind of what I want this channel to be about, is to help the people on the other side of the camera get closure, because that's what I do every single day. But anyway, there's a whole lot of different things that you can do in the funeral home industry, but the two things that I do is I'm a cremator, and on the other side I do removals. Now, a lot of people will view people who do removals as kind of the bottom guys and stuff like that. Me personally, I don't care what you think. I love my job. I love doing what I do. I like having that first interaction with the families. I like being able to walk through that door and seeing a distraught family and be able to walk out knowing that they have closure, knowing that I did something, to help them. I have plenty of stories from families that I've helped. I have plenty of stories of just different situations that I've been through that have kind of led me to kind of try to change my life in the way that I view things. If you do get into the industry, or if you are in the industry, I feel like you can speak on the same things that I speak about how it can kind of change your viewpoints on things. A lot of people don't, and a lot of people just, it's a job to them. And that's fine. Some of the best people that I've met, at their job, it's just a job to them. But to me, I feel like it's a little bit more, because a family's trusting you with, they don't know you from Adam and Eve, and they're literally trusting you with prized possession. Doesn't even come to it. That's a living family member. They've lived their whole life being around that person. So you definitely have to be respectful, and you definitely have to have a good heart. If you don't, you're going to be into it for the wrong reasons, and it's not going to work out for you in the end. A lot of people who are in the industry are good people. I've met some wonderful people. I've worked for some wonderful people. But it does come to a point to where you're gonna meet people such as police officers, nurses, people in the funeral home industry, whatever industry you want to look at, there's good and bad. There's good hospitals and bad hospitals. There's good funeral homes and bad funeral homes. Some are out to take your money. Some are out there to truly help you. And I would like to say that majority they're out there to help you. There's not a whole lot of people out there trying to, just take money out of your pocket. Different states have different areas, as in the field, such as how can I put this? Kind of, for example, cremation. If you live in a colder state, your cremation requirement temperatures are going to be a lot higher than what ours are. I'm in Florida, so it all depends on where you go. There's going to be different things, and some things may not add up to someone who's in another state. But that's one thing I want to do moving forward with this channel, is bring people on who have an expertise in certain things. I want to have people on here who, I've seen many embalmings, I can talk about many embalmings, but I'm not an embalmer, so I don't feel like I have that knowledge to speak on. So I'd like to bring people from all over the country, people I know personally, and kind of bring them on and let them share their experiences with you and help you answer your questions. But next I want to speak on why I kind of got into the industry, or how I got into the industry. Honestly, I had kind of hit pretty low. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Before this, I had did the reptile thing. I really enjoyed the reptile industry. I had vended a trade show up under a company at Repticon. Many of you have probably heard it. It's all over the nation. It's really big in the southeast. But anyway, so I went on Indeed and I was just applying for a whole bunch of jobs. And one had popped up and it had said removal technician, and it had mentioned a funeral home, but I didn't really know what it meant, what it had entailed. So I had submitted my application. I got a call back from someone who had owned the company that I would end up working for, who actually became one of my really, really, really good friends. Shout out to you. You know who you are if you're watching this. But anyway, so he gives me an interview and I sit down with him and talk with him, and he brings me on. And not that I was acting fake or anything, but being in an interview, I didn't want to act like, I was scared or like I didn't know what I was going to be getting myself into. But to be honest, I had no idea what I was getting myself into until I actually met the gentleman to go on a call. And honestly, it was one of those things. I feel people say that when you find your niche that you just know it. And I kind of feel that's how this was, because I didn't have any of the concerns or the setbacks that a lot of people have. I kind of dove right into it and I fell in love with it. But basically, so I applied, I got a job, and I ran with it. Now, what I personally do is I cremate, and like I said, I do removals. But there's two different types of removals that you can do. I had started for 3.5 years. I ran a company. I had helped run a company for about 3 years, but I was working there 3.5. And basically what we did was we had helped the biggest corporation in the United States do their removals from residences, hospitals, nursing homes, and all of that stuff. So we were dealing with a lot of families, a lot of family dynamic. The other side of removals is you can do medical examiner calls if your company has that contract or has that relationship with the medical examiner. And that's a whole different ballgame. Personally, I do both of them, but with the medical examiner, what that entails, if you don't know what a medical examiner is, anytime that you need an autopsy, anytime that you need anytime that you have a suspicious death, that's where the medical examiner will come into play. They're the ones who are doing the autopsy. They're finding out the cause of death. So I deal with car accidents, overdoses, murders, anything that you can think of. For example, as if you, not to speak on anything more recent, but like a Columbine shooting or a bank shooting or anything like that, those things play into role with a removal service, because you're actually showing up on scene to bring those people into the medical examiner's care. And no matter the situation, no matter what it is, you always use the same amount of respect. And that's one thing I'm really big on, especially being a leader, is you have to have respect. If you don't have respect, then you shouldn't be in this industry. And that's just how I feel. Maybe people view it different. But so yeah, so I cremate and I do both sides of the removals. It's a really good job and a good industry to get into if you have that interest. One thing I want to do moving forward is if anybody ever has any questions or anybody ever needs an advocate for them, That's another thing I want this channel to be, is kind of be a funeral home advocate, help you find out information that you need. If I don't know the information about your state, I can get it just like that. And I want to try to help people in a way that puts them at peace, but also to where they don't have to stress so much about the small things. But basically that's what I do. So I have knowledge in removals, cremation, a lot of different facts, a lot of different history. I study a lot of the history on the funeral homes. I'll make videos on that. I'll make videos about my past stories. Some stories, will be medical examiner related, some will be family related. And I kind of want to just make videos that when you're on the other side of the camera and you watch, when you get done watching it, I want you to be able to feel at peace, or like your questions were answered. And with that being said, all social medias will be down in the description. One thing, like I said, I want to be an advocate, so I'm going to be answering all questions, all DMs. I'm going to make that a priority. I know that there probably won't be a lot, unless a lot of people kind of gravitate to this kind of content. But even if it's one person or two people, I help tons and tons of people every single day. So even if I could get one or two more people a day to help, that's what I'm looking for. But in the future, look forward to history of the funeral home. A lot of people don't know, but women were actually the first people in the funeral homes to do anything. They were the first embalmers. They were nurses and housewives, and they would come in and embalm the body inside of your residence, and all of your viewings would be inside of your home. From my understanding, there actually was a state, I would have to do the research on it, just trying to cover the topic a little bit, but they actually still do in-home funerals. So it really depends on your region. Every region's different. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of hop on here as a first video and explain what I am, what I do, what a mortician is, kind of where I want to go with this channel, how I want to help people, and if there's any tips or anything that you guys want me to do, specifically, maybe I can do a tour of a crematory. Maybe I can do, story times, whatever it is. Just drop them down in the comments below, and, let's spread some positivity and knowledge. If you enjoyed, subscribe, hit the like button. Before I end the video, I wanted to give a shout out. I study a lot of prison channels, and I like learning about different walks of life that I could have went down, or that a friend of mine could have went down. And I wanted to give two main shout outs. One is to Lockdown 23-1. I've been following him for a super, super long time, and he's the one that kind of gave me the idea to branch out to the funeral home industry and do interviews such as he is with inmates, or former inmates, I'm sorry. And I want to bring on nurses, embalmers, just all kinds of different people who play a role in my everyday job. The other big shout out there that I want to give out, 1090 Jake. I just wanted to say, I appreciate you. I've hit him up quite a few times in the DMs on Instagram just to kind of ask him a few questions, ask his advice, kind of bring to his knowledge, or to his eyes, what I want to do by spreading knowledge. And he gave me the full go. He told me go for it. He said, I feel like it would bring some viewers. And that's all I want, is just for some people to enjoy the videos and to be able to learn from them. But anyway, guys, again, thanks for everything. Let's keep spreading positivity and knowledge. If you have a video that you want to see next, drop it below. I'm always going to be trying to pick up viewers' videos before I put out my own, unless they're the same topic. I'll throw out a couple of shout outs to people's social media if they, brought up the same topic I was going to do next. But anyway, you guys have a great night. I hope that you guys keep spreading positivity, and we'll see you guys next time. I'm your mortician, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.